let's do a little rapid fire, and I want to change this one up a little bit for this episode. We're going to do season ratings because, unfortunately, there were 4 drivers who were eliminated from the playoffs after Bristol. Some had a better season than others thought they would. Others not so much. But, Steve, let's start with you. Give me a season rating for the 10 of Aric Almirola.
If it was a restaurant, it'd be great service with bad food. It's 50-50, right? Most of the season is a disappointment. It was so you didn't know what you were going to get with this highlight, this great main course of a win at New Hampshire. I will say he didn't embarrass himself in the playoffs. He made a run at it. It was going to be a tall order. It wasn't enough. So I give it dead middle of the road for Aric Almirola. Enough highlights to offset the lowlights, but just kind of middle of the road.
All right, Mamba, what restaurant you're at with the 10?
Well, I don't know what star rating he gave him, but I'll go with like a 3.2 because the whole organization has struggled a little bit. And, Harvick hasn't won like we're used to. So it might not be all, on their fault. They had to really step up. They won a race. They made it in the playoffs. They put a run in, almost pointed their way in. I'm going to give them a little bit more than Steve. If Steve's 50-50, I'm like 60-40.
All right, just a little bit more. Well, the points weren't far separating the 10 from advancing to the next round. The same with the 8 of Tyler Reddick. I know it was a huge disappointment for RCR not to get that car into the next round. Steve, season rating for the 8.
So this one I look a little bit higher on because I think this is a building block for Tyler Reddick. He raced his teammate down the stretch to get in the playoffs. He's now been in the playoffs, and I don't care what the fans say. When those drivers show up to race one of the playoffs, they are not the same 16 that ran the first 26 races. They walk in with a different swagger. There's less chit-chat at driver introduction. And for that, I give Tyler Reddick, I like the star rating. He's a good 3.5, 3 3/4 out of 5, right? It's a good year for the 8. But what do they do with it? That will be important looking back. This needs to be a building block.
Yeah, momentum for 2022 will definitely be important. Mamba, what do you give Tyler Reddick?
Well, I hear Steve's basically saying, if next year they build on it, he's going to give him like a 4. So I'm going to give you a 4 right now, Tyler Reddick and RCR. You got that. Look, that's one of those programs that is up and down a lot. Every time we think they're going to make a big step, it seems like the competition made that same big step and they stay kind of where they're at. I want to see the building block, but ever since Tyler Reddick has got to this organization, he has built them up. They've gotten better and better year in, year out, week in and week out. And I hope more of that. So I'm going to give Tyler Reddick a 4 stars. I think they've been great.
All right. I'm going to give Richard Childress a 5 out of 5 when it comes to his input on the radio. One of my favorite radio listens. All right, next up, Steve, let's do the 1 of Kurt Busch, a past series champion. He will be at 23-11 next year. What do you make of the 1?
Outstanding season for Kurt Busch. I don't think anyone had him making the playoffs. I don't think anyone had him making this run. I actually want to take a minute and really applaud the men and women at Chip Ganassi Racing. When that announcement came out in the middle of the year that it had been sold, the wheels could have completely come off. They did the opposite. They circled the wagons. They went to Atlanta. They went to Victory Lane. In the playoffs, both the 42, their non-playoff car, and the 1 have run great. If it wasn't for one simple flat left rear tire at Richmond, we would be talking about the continuation of the playoffs for Kurt Busch. I'm not going to hold that against him, so I give Kurt Busch a great 4, 5-star, A+, call it what you want. A great season that earned him another big contract at an up-and-coming team at 23-11.
Agree. The employees at Chip Ganassi Racing, 5 out of 5 for me too. Mamba, what do you make of the 1?
I'm so proud of that organization. There were a similar one to RCR, except I think they're a little in front. They always have a little bit more speed, and you're like always really excited about Chip Ganassi Racing. And now this is the last time we're going to see them in this capacity. So hats off to everybody over there, and Chip, congratulations with everything he's done. But the 1, Kurt Busch, he's done a great job. He's been a leader over there. He's been a leader everywhere he goes. He wins races at every organization. They put in a great year, and they have a lot to hang their hat on.
Yeah, Chip still likes winners. He has that mentality. Whenever you're around him, you can tell he likes to win. All right, last one for the 34 of Michael McDowell. A surprise to even make the playoffs, but man, he won the Daytona 500, Steve.
Anytime you win the Daytona 500, it's a great year. That flag hangs behind me in my office. It doesn't make your year, it makes your career. If you give anyone that wins the Daytona 500 less than 5 stars, then you and I can't be friends. So he's a 5-star year out of me for sure.
But Michael McDowell.
More than 5 stars, because this started last year. So I'm using Steve's building block technique. So last year they had speed. They did. They had speed on the mile and a half. And they didn't get to close it out all the time, right? But it built, and you could see that here this year. They win the 500. They were in the mix at different assorted racetracks this year. They should be very proud. And honestly, if they didn't wreck out, I was really hoping they could keep the points pretty close so it could be fun and we might see something new and different. Didn't quite work out, but they should be very proud of their season.